Welcome to the Wandering Tangent Review. I am BJ, with me is Jeff and Gary, and this time around we are going to talk about the 1956 biblical epic, I guess? I was trying to think of a...
biblical comic book.
I'm trying to think of the genre for this, but we're talking about the Ten Commandments! Because it's Easter or thereabouts, don't you know? And they used to play this movie on TV around Easter. Back when they did such things. But now they don't. I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
But
it seemed like a good choice. Somehow. We'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, I guess before Jeff gets rolling on...
whatever it is I'm going to say.
Jeff's going to rank this lower than the green slime, isn't he? Anyway, I guess I'll go first. And just make sure, Gary, are you there? I've heard Jeff, but I haven't heard you.
Yes.
Okay. Just make sure we didn't lose you between the sound check and now. That would be bad. Anyway, so the Ten Commandments. I am going to give it a 3, I think. I was kind of bouncing between the 3 and a 4, and I steadfastly refused to use decimal places, so I'm going to go with a 3. By and large, it's a really good movie. You know, there's a lot of good performances. You got Charlton Heston Charlton Hestoning the place up, but actually thought most of the performances by the bad guys were kind of the best parts. You know, Yul Brynner as Ramses, and Baxter as Nefertiti, and Edward Robinson as Dathan. I thought they were all quite good parts. And overall the movie's pretty good. There's a handful of things I didn't love about it, like I don't want to harp on it too much, but it is a 70-year-old movie, so the effects are somewhat dated. But I'm not going to dunk on a movie too hard because the groundbreaking special effects aren't groundbreaking 70 years later. There are a couple of times that kind of drags out. A lot of the secondary characters, I guess, don't really have a lot of personality. Like basically, if you're a mostly unnamed female character, you're just kind of there to be kind of boy hungry for a couple of scenes. Maybe I'm weird for this, but I don't love the way Moses is kind of a spiritual automaton after he sees like the burning bush. Like after that, he seems to lose a lot of his like personality traits or whatever. He kind of becomes extremely single-minded, which I guess makes sense, but doesn't make for the most compelling character. But yeah, outside of those, I recommend it. It is, I'm sure, as will be mentioned multiple times between this and the long-form discussion, it is quite a long movie, clocking in at 3 hours and 40 minutes, I think, but still, I quite enjoyed it. 3 stars.
I guess I'll go next. So as a nice movie series that I watched over multiple sessions, I give it a good 2.5 stars. I'm not opposed to giving it a decimal point, so I'm just gonna say that it's 2.5 stars. A little bit less than BJ, but that's okay. Still like it. Still solid movie. For its time, I guess it was really, like you said, cutting edge. And the fact that it doesn't rely completely on any sort of spectacle, there's a lot more character happening. You're right, though, BJ. It did, post, you lost a lot of the character of Moses after he gets his true calling. And you also, I mean, part of me I guess it's inevitable that I'm going to be thinking of Prince of Egypt, a different movie in which this story was told. Shorter, more succinct, and much more recently, and definitely in a different way. So that's kind of why I would give it a slightly lower score than you, BJ, but I don't know, maybe yeah, I definitely think you've seen both of these movies, and I guess that's why I'm giving this one a slightly lower score. But anyways, I still think it's a good movie. Long, definitely best to take it in parts. So that's why I give it
There
2.5.
is an intermission.
Yes, there is an intermission in which you can cut this into two very nice movies. All right, Jeff?
Right. Yes. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a score of a 3, which means BJ cannot criticize me whatsoever, since that's his identical score. I'd like to see him find a way to criticize the number 3 somehow. But yeah, I liked it, but why? Why did I like it? I love these old sets. I love how they got these casts together, all of these many extras and the animals and the costumes, and they have these scenes that are so dramatic. I don't think they're overplayed, but they definitely have almost like a theater vibe, like you're in an audience watching a live play, and they have these dramatic, almost operatic moments where people are standing as if an artist painted them from the Renaissance, and they have everything recorded within this story is just very grand and with huge amounts of spectacle, and it's almost like if you made a very colorful comic book of it. Just everything visually is intriguing and good, and the Egyptian stuff is always looks good on camera. They always had a kind of an eye for art and sculpture and impressive giants rocks that they would carve. So everything's big and impressive when it comes to Egyptians, and so they really capture that in this movie. But I think what it comes down to, I like a little bit of an over-the-top performance really sat well, I think, when this movie came out. And I think even today I can appreciate a little bit of extra energy to make things dramatic. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a fun movie. Most people are not going to watch it and sit through it, which is too bad because there's a lot of just colorful and good things in it. But that's my review, for whatever that means. That's what I'd say.
Well, in my defense, from how you sounded when we first started, it did sound like you were going to give this a not very good score. So I'm not going to say anything about your score besides that.
Yeah, why would you think that?
Because from your tone of voice, you sound like you didn't like it.
Oh. Well.
Like back when we first started recording, like, oh yeah, I'm going to give it my score, I guess. It's like, oh no. He's going to give this like a negative number.
-5.
No, mock him forever. Speaking of mocking Jeff forever.
I didn't like how Ramesses lost. I mean, okay.
Speaking of mocking Jeff forever and me doing terrible Charlton Heston impressions, if you want more of that, come join us over on our long form discussion. If you don't want more of that, happy Easter, I guess. Happy Holy Week. This does come out the Tuesday before Easter. So yeah, if that's your thing, enjoy. If not, have a good week anyway. And join us in the long form discussion for more stuff, I'm sure. I am curious to see where we go with this. I'm BJ. With me is Jeff and Gary. We'll see you next time when we review something which is probably much less biblical.
But perhaps still Charlton Heston-y. Perhaps.
Maybe.
We should do more.
Old Man in the Sea. Wish I had the boy with me. Pick him up by the ankle. He was club against the Sharks. One story behind that. Check out the long form discussion. See you next time.